Welcome back. This is another video about reclaiming old stock. If you remember, I had this long bar stock that I had given to me, and it had quite a big bend in it, and I've already cut off the sections that were usable, that were straight, but now I've got this bent piece here, and I'm thinking, what can I do with this? I've got some ideas where I could use some inch and a half pieces of round stock, and I thought, well, I could further cut this down into the straightest sections that exist in this bend, in this slight bend. And as you can see, there's about an inch and a half, something I could turn down and make, concentric all the way around. The middle section's got a little bit more of a bend, but again, I could get that chucked up, clean this portion up, and then this end here, a little over an inch. So what I'm gonna do in this video is section off this into 3 pieces, and then we're gonna mount them up and square these off into small sections of round stock that I can use for some upcoming projects that I have an idea on. I think the best way to go about that, considering the bend, is to either use a grinder or go back to the hacksaw. If I use a hacksaw, it's just 2 cuts. So I think that's what I'm gonna ultimately do. So I'll bring you over to the vise in the other workshop and we'll get to hacking these away. Takes a little while to get through this material, but that seems to be, especially with this bend, I don't know, I can't really use the lathe to part these off. So we're gonna go over the vise and we're gonna get this sectioned off. Well, here's the setup. We just gonna put this in the vise and I'm gonna get to hacking away. Again, this doesn't have to be exact or anything. I'm just trying to get them in the straightest 3 sections that I can so that I can go to the lathe and get them turned down. So let's go ahead and start, and we'll meet you over at the lathe when I get done. Well, it's warm. That's a lot of work to use a hacksaw to get through that. Let's go to plan B, because I'm lazy. Here we go, plan B. Well, that worked. A lot less effort, a lot noisier. That is hot. And the other one, where did it go? There it is. There they are. Meet you at the bench, the lathe. Brought you back to the lathe area, and here's the 3 pieces. These 2 are still pretty hot from using the grinder, but as you can see, there's our 3 pieces. Something like that. Actually, I think it goes more like that. Anyway, you get the idea. So, 3 parts to work with. So, next step, these 2 are still pretty hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this one up, and we're gonna get this cleaned off, faced off, and try to make as concentric cylinder as we can so that we have a starting point for a future project idea that I have. I'm gonna mount this up in the lathe, get you mounted up in the other camera mount so you can watch, and I'll bring you back. Okay, this is the first video that I've actually done since I think I've got my camera situation improved. I think I have the wobbliness and all of those issues that I was getting annoyed with. I think I got those taken care of. So let's see what the best way here is. There's quite a bit of material that needs to come off this side. This one's really rough. I think what I'll do, I think the curve is more so on this end. So I'm gonna mount it up on this side and just start cutting away this until I get something as concentric as I can, then I'll flip it over. I'll face it off and make sure that's square as well. Turn it. It's about as good as I can do there, I believe. It isn't going to be perfect, but again, this is just cleaning this material up and trying to make it a cylinder that's usable. Let's get that turned on. Let's start it out slow and just see what this thing's doing. It's not bad. There's going to be a lot of intermittent cuts. I'm going to use my high-speed steel, and we'll see how well that does with this material in the intermittent cut. And we'll just whittle away at this until we get it cleaned up. I'm going to need this. So there's the start. I'm not going to use any emery cloth or anything, but I did knock the sharp corner off. So I'm going to try to chuck this up on this side here. That's as square as I can make it, and then we'll continue on. And this is piece number 1. So we'll chuck this up as best we can here. I won't be able to get all the way down, which is okay. I'm just looking to chuck it up so that I can get as close as I can and just clean up most of this, and I'll flip it back over and we'll keep going. So switch this tooling out. High-speed steel seems to be functioning very well. Quite happy with it. Clean some of these chips up. Knock some of these off. And we'll keep going. All right, first thing, we'll face this again. And again, I'm gonna put an angle on this to do the facing. here's a summary of the video. Most of the video is just going to be turning. Not a lot of dialogue on that. There's no sense. But I went ahead and I'm going to put that stuff to some music and just let you watch. But the idea, again, if you saw the beginning of this video, you'll see that I had that bent piece of bar stock that was kind of unusable for anything. And I've got a couple project ideas for some small cylinders or stub pieces. Again, that bar, the original bar, looked like this, but it had a big bend in it. I got a video on that somewhere. Check back through the playlist if you want to see that. But this is what we ended up with. 3 pieces that are nearly the same size. Let's just take a quick measurement because we can. And it just depended on the bend and where it was. There's an inch, 160 thou on that piece. This one, inch, 130 thou. Some of them had to be a little smaller due to where the bend was. Here's an inch, 150 thou. So I lose about, I don't know, 100 thou because it's about 1.25 inches material when I turn this down. But now I've got 3 plugs essentially of usable stock that I can do something with. Something that was kind of interesting, if you notice on the third, I tried to show it in the video. On the third one, there was just a sliver of a piece, and I got it so close. I had this little sliver. I was going to try to slide it off in one piece, but it broke. It was kind of interesting. I just thought I'd share that. But anyway, we got these turned down. They're now cylinders. They're concentric, and now I can do something with them. Let's check the length too. We didn't do that. Almost an inch, 970 thou on that one. 1 inch, 320 thou, and 1 inch, 270 thou. So 1.25 inches. Anyway, these 2 are 1.25 inches usable material. This one is just under 1 inch. Anyway, that's going to conclude this video. It's just more of a reclamation style video, but it allows me to turn material and learn along the way. I am really digging this high-speed steel that I have. Again, for those that encouraged me to make my own high-speed steel, thank you. That's going to be fun. This particular profile that I've got going, it held up very well. All I did was own it there towards the end. If you saw on that last piece, I honed it up, but it held up really well. It's doing a really nice job turning these down. I like it so much. I've got 4 more pieces that I haven't ground yet. I've got some ideas where I want to cut like a rounded shape, and then I even bought another pack of 5. So I've got plenty of material, because you can grind 2 ends and have 2 different toolings for each one of these. So I'm pretty pleased with this, and that's going to be much cheaper than going back and buying inserts all the time to just keep swapping them out. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. I hope you found it interesting. If you haven't, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.